What's going on, everyone? This is Lo-Fi Noah here, and today we got something different. Okay, just gonna be me and you talking today. We got something that I've been wanting to really discuss, been on my mind as well. This is something that I usually like to do anyway, and having discussions and just your opinions that are different from mine or really the same as mine. And so there's been this YouTube video that's been popping up on my feed quite some time, and I pretty much watched the video back a couple months back, and then they recently put out a new video out on it, and they're readdressing it, but then also talking about the new stuff that changed or been added. But before we jump into all that, okay, subscribe. Okay, only take a couple seconds. Okay, if you like the content, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I got a lot of things coming with Warframe, and on top of that, got some stuff that's not about Warframe that's gonna be dropping as well, so be tuned in. Okay, got a lot more stuff coming with the channel. Okay, make sure you do that. What's the video that I'm talking about here today? The video is called DE Does Not Understand Overguard by Cool Kids 369. Then his second video is DE Still Does Not Understand Overguard. Now, if you wanted to get his full context on the video or get a better understanding on his thoughts about Overguard, then I would highly encourage you to go watch the video for yourself. Get your own opinions about it before you just take mine and run with it. But to summarize, his first video was about breaking down what was the point of Overguard that DE wanted it to be, what's the issues with it, and some solutions that could provide a good way to make it better for people who play certain types of Warframe or builds that they really enjoy. While the second video was pretty much a summary of the first video, but then on top of that, updates or changes that DE has given us to counteract Overguard or to make it a little bit easier for us to deal with in like higher levels or in Still Path really. But ultimately, because of the new changes and updates, aka the arcanes and the new mods that we have gotten so far, it's not fixing the main point that Cool Kid brought up in both of his videos, which is CC Warframes or crowd control Warframes are in this weird limbo spot in a way. Because when you're dealing with an Overguard enemy, if you have never played with a crowd control Warframe against them, you're pretty much not getting anything off of them. Your abilities don't really work against them, and you're pretty much in this weird state because they're able to walk through it and not deal with it whatsoever. And so that kind of leaves crowd controls Warframes in this weird spot. And because damage is the best answer to deal with this, you're also using the new stuff that they have came out with. So like secondary fortitude and also the Warframe 1999 magnetized mod. This ultimately equates to, hey, let's just spam more Eximus units because of these things are too strong against the Overguard enemy, which creates a cycle that never ends, and ultimately it never fixes the underlying problem that first started the issue that begin the cycle. I agree with mostly everything that he said about crowd control Warframe. They're definitely in a weird spot right now, especially when it comes down to dealing with Eximus units. But after thinking about it for a while, about what to really do for like a solution, I'm not really sure if the solution that he provides would be the best. If Eximus units become more effective to CC abilities, they most likely would just end up getting steamrolled by nuking and incarnate and damaging Warframes altogether, even way worse, which will increase more of the already prevalent thing about Warframe, which is, hey, if I see an enemy, I'm going to use my incarnate weapon. Hey, if I got a crowd of enemies, just nuke them. And if I'm just needing something to kill something really fast, just use my damaging Warframe. So they become even more forgotten, and on top of that, we will not interact with them even less than we already do. But when Cool Kid mentioned using operators to deal with your Overguard, I actually like this solution a lot. And it even makes sense. It would give more purpose to using your operator or drifter in regular missions, because for right now, outside of grouping the enemies, dealing with the enemy that doesn't die and it starts to fly away in Void Cascade to another enemy, that's the only thing you really use your operator drifter for. The only drawback to this solution, the operator and drifter, is they don't do a whole lot of damage, and on top of that, they die quickly, especially if we start scaling up on enemies or levels. So in order for them to make this work, they're going to need like a rework or a buff, or maybe some way of adding arcanes or mods in order to make their playstyle more viable and to be able to be used in order to use them in everyday missions than just what we already do. I think the biggest thing we use operating drifters for at this point is Eidolon hunts, but even then that fell off at this point. Now, an easy update that I think will be really beneficial to Warframe, even with how we have CC Warframes in a weird spot, is just having it to where whenever we deal with an Eximus unit and we put the CC ability on that enemy, it will then be applied once the Overguard is lost. This won't fix the drawing issue that CC Warframes have with Xmas units, but I think it's a really good quality of life update that should be implemented. And while I was working on this video, I ended up catching a Nightmare Frames reaction. And what he said about Overguard actually resonated with me a lot more. He pointed out it's not just the Overguard that is the issue. The problem is the enemies themselves. The way they work, the way they interact, that's what needs to be changed. Because at the end of the day, most players are still gonna run around and use damage frames, nuke frames, and then just use Incarnate Weapon and call it a day. So unless the enemies involved, throwing more mechanics at us won't really move the needle. I'm hoping with this video right here, this will strike like conversation or a way to brainstorm better ways for just to play Warframe. I enjoy Warframe a lot. I think the game is phenomenal, and I think the game is better than most loot and shooters, even though it's kind of is a loot and shooter, but not really. But I'm gonna count it because it is one of the big 3 loot and shooter games out there so far. It has a lot of potential, and maybe if we get something that can fix the enemies or change them up, then we don't have to have level 99 enemies as a way to test our skill. But that's another conversation for another day, probably another video. Without any further ado, I'll catch you guys in the next one.